Cosplay World. This is Knives Rant number 11. EPS film, and this is like my 7th try getting this video under 15 minutes. My last attempt was somewhere near half an hour. Hopefully I'll do better. Now, I prefer EPS foam to the expanded styrene pellets because you can get more detail out. You don't have to pick those little pellets out and fill them in with your plaster Paris later. Let's see. It is not chemically resistant. It's not thermally resistant. Although you can do special textures and details with those techniques if you want. I'll go over that later. Anyway, I've got various thicknesses. If you've got detail, rather than try and carve an inside edge, you can just lay it over it, and there's your detail. Just carve a bit of detail over it, no big deal. Alright, now I also use different thicknesses. This is because my saw blade is only so long. Alright, if I've got a long angle to cut, very almost flat angle, I'll use the thinner stuff so I'll just take the slant in stride. Alright, but I prefer to use the thickest stuff I can get a hold of, because when you glue these things together, you'll get these little creases and they're not so pretty. You'll have to fill those in and sand them down and make them nice, more work. Alright, when you glue them together, because that's pretty much the only thing you can do, you can't sew it, you can't screw it, you can only pretty much glue it, and glue it with this, the IP, or the installation number 78. It works on every kind of foam I've come across so far. It does not hurt foam, and it glues. Now, when you're gluing them together, you'll want to clamp them together, or hold them together, or sit on them and wait for them to cure. You only want enough to make surface content. If you rub them together and they start feeling tacky, that's about the right kind of consistency you want. If you're rubbing them together and they're just sliding apart, no, you use too much of it. Alright. Let's see. Tools that are good. This is a good tool. If you have to go right into the foam and not from the outside, you want to poke it through with this tool. This is because it's got this little teeny tiny point. The bigger the point on your tool, the harder it's going to get to the foam, and the more likely it's going to bulge out and have this huge kind of cone-shaped foam pop out, which is damaging to your sculpture. Now you're saying, hey, foam is such a weak material, you have to reinforce with MDF if it's long, and you have to coat it because it's sensitive to paints and glues and things like that, and temperature. Well, why would you use it? It's because you can sculpt high detail. High detail. When you're vacuum forming, you can pretty much only get detail from one direction. When you sculpt, you can get it from anywhere you'd like, anywhere that's accessible. When you're thermoforming, you get less, like with PVC and with Wonderflex, you get less detail than vacuum forming, okay, just so you guys know. But those materials have their own merit. Alright. Yes, this is more expensive than the other expanded polystyrene pellets, but you get more detail. The point is to have a nice smooth finish at the end of the day that you can cover up, and then you can paint. It takes well to acrylic paint. But if you want a cheaper kind of paint and a prettier kind of paint, you'll have to go and get it coated with something. Maybe gesso will coat this. Maybe what is it? Yeah, plaster of Paris mixed with the acrylic, like I said. Just a very fine coating will do the job. Seal it, then paint it. You're all good. The point is not to get the harsh chemicals on the surface. Alright. I have a ton more to talk about, especially about the tools. There's a zillion tools to cover, because it's sculpting. Sculpting has all the special tools, and they're not frivolous tools either. They're awesome tools to do specific jobs that you may want to know about, especially if you want to save money, because a lot of these things you can make yourself. You can find around the house, or you can take materials from your store and change them to use with this material. So useful. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Alright. As I'm running through here, you can also coat it with Bondo. Awesome. Things like that. Now, yes, might have scrunched it down. I am not telling you jack squat about any of the detailed work. Now, when you're sawing through it, you don't want to saw through too far because it'll bow. If it bows, you'll have taken out more material than you would like, and it's always better to take out less material than you like than more, because you can't really add more. Even the spray kind of foam, it will eat this. It will actually eat this. Another foam will eat this foam. Kind of sensitive. And I prefer that spray foam because you end up with tons and tons of those little pockets when you're doing the basic structure. It's more expensive, so much more expensive than this. And when you're done shaping it, you have to fill those pockets with something, and it's a whole ton more work than this. If you just do a little planning, get your graph paper out and do a basic layer of cakes of whatever you're sculpting, and cut out each layer of the cake and stack them on top of each other, and then start sculpting. You'll save a ton of time and especially material. Yeah, I'll take each one of those layers of cake and I'll put them on a piece of graph paper representing the sheet of foam, which comes in the 4 by 8 sheets. And I'll make sure that I can cram as much material or as many cake layers as I can in each sheet. Now, they're big sheets. I recommend you go in there with a saw and some kind of drawing device. When you bring it out to the parking lot, cut it up and put it in your car. Done this on many occasions. No one cares. If you don't have a truck or whatever to get those big old sheets, that's fine. Just cut it up in the parking lot. Whew. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Hopefully I will have cut down this rant quite a lot. It doesn't take well to screws. That's what I use MDF for. I'll have a piece of MDF on the inside, and I'll put a screw that needs to attach something through it onto the MDF. This won't hold it. Very light material, which is good. You want things that you're wearing or have around to be light. You don't want to be dragging stuff around for 2 straight days, for half a day, things like that. Maybe I'm just lazy. Yes. What else is there? Yeah. I'm going to leave the tools out of it. All the sculpting bits and things out of it. Because there are just so many that it would take up more than the necessary amount of video. Even this you saw me just go, rant, quickly get everything together. And maybe I'm not being clear. I might have to make this again. Oh well. Yeah. If you like this, if you didn't like it, all the good things you need to tell me. If you want to see something, tell me. If you want me to know I'm not talking to myself and I'm not schizophrenic and going right in the corner, hit the buttons, all the little 20 buttons, just to let me know somehow that you are listening and finding this informative. I don't know how well this went over because I had to cram a zillion things into this one video. Yeah, this is, I don't know how well this went over because it is so, in my opinion, it really is not even touching the whole use of this material. It's just some of the basics, okay? But there's only so much I can fit in 15 minutes. Oh well. So very useful. Especially once you've figured out how to address the coding issue, which is the biggest problem with this. Having support, not taking chemical things, that can be dealt with. It's the coding. You have to work on the coding. That's the biggest problem you'll have with it. And finishing it, because if you don't finish it well, it'll look like foam. It'll have that uneven bits. You'll need all your sanding materials, all your sponges, your papers, sanding papers, all that. Finish it up as cleanly as you can, because that affects the quality at the end of the day. Absolutely paramount that you sand it down. I went over this in the Plaster of Paris. Sand it down as best you can. If you can sand it down well enough, it'll look like PVC at the end of the day. Oh well, this has been Knives
cosplay rants number 11. That's pretty much it this time around. I'm going to review the video, see if it's any good. Good times to all.